Now we will import the libraries like NumPy, Pandas and Matplotlib. So now we have imported library, we can read the data. So I read the data and now I will print the first 5 datas. So here is my data. Now I can describe. Let me check the shape of my data. So here is the shape of my data. Now let me store the column in one variable. Let me separate the xy. I have separated the xy and I just printed the shape of xy. Let me see how many unique datas I have. So I have 4 unique datas in this problem. So let me define my class. Class is equal to the number of unique datas, which is 4 here. Let me define a new variable called row, which is equal to number of rows. Let me insert the dummy variable, which is 1 in my 0th column of my data x. So I have inserted. So now shape become 449 crows 785. Let me print my data. Here is my data, x data. Let me define new variable parameters, which is basically equal to my number of features. Let me initialize my theta with all zeros entries in it. This is my shape of my theta. Let me write the function, sigmoid function. So here I am defining my sigmoid function, which is give me the probability or estimation value. My cost function is equal to j theta, which is like this. So let me write the function for my compute cost. Here are my x and y metrics. So I write my first term and second term and take the summation of my first term and second term and divide it by 2 times length of x and return the cost. So let me call the cost here and let's see how much value of cost I am getting here. So this is my first cost. So now I have to use various methods like gradient descent function to minimize this cost. So my gradient is equal to following this. So I'm writing the function of my gradient now, which is nothing but the derivative of my cost function. So I define the xy I define the error term and I multiplied that error term with the learning rate and I got the gradient. Let me do the gradient descent on my error cost function and then minimize the theta. So for that, firstly I have to have the one hot matrix of y. So I initialize my theta with zeros. Here yi is nothing but the one hot matrix column and I'm passing yi to my function minimize fmin to calculate the minimum theta for each class. Once I got the minimum theta for each class, I pass it. So here my all theta, which is written by the one versus all function, is the minimum theta so far. So let me define a new variable called minimum theta and calculate it. Let me print my minimum theta and see. So here is my minimum theta matrix, which is of say 4 cross 7 at 5 here. So let me try to calculate the error or cost using this minimum theta. So this is my cost. So let me try to calculate the y for my input x, that is output for my input. So I'm defining here predict all function. I take an input as x and theta. I took the sigmoid of x cross theta transpose and I called the function argmax and returned the value of argmax. Let me try to calculate the accuracy. So accuracy can be calculated by comparing my actual y and my y predicted when I give my x as input. So I calculated my y predict and for each y equal to y predict assigning a number which is equal to 1 and which will finally give me the count of what is my accuracy. So on my training data accuracy is 100%, which should be. So now I will do the following step, which is testing. So I will input PNG image, convert it to gray, then to gray array, then invert it, then take its level, then I will reshape it, then I will insert the dummy variable and call the predict function. So I took the input image from my location data test2.png image. Now I'm defining the RGB to gray function, which is as, and I'm calling the same function. Let me try to plot this gray scale image and see how it is. So my input image was 2 and I converted it into grayscale, and here is my image. Let me convert this gray matrix to an array which is called the GR array. So I will convert into GR array and then invert it, which means instead of replace it with the 255 and where it is 255 I will replace it with 0. So here is my inverted image so that it can be computationally easy. Let me call the ravel of this and reshape it. So I ravel my black and white image and reshaped it as a column. Now I will insert a column of 1 in my black and white image as a dummy variable. So I have inserted this. Now finally, let's me call the predict function, as I have my black and white image 28 cross 28, so it should work with the feature 785. So I called my predict function and let me see what it predicts. Yeah, it's predicting 2, which is absolutely correct. So this was my whole model for predicting the number. Here as an input I have checked on a 1 image which is of the 2, and I got my right answer. So that's all folks. Thank you. Bye.